Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back here to the launch pad. Welcome to our first, the landing pad. This is the name that you guys selected. It's one that I like as well, so we're gonna go with it and just see how we get along. But these are gonna continue being our weekly night hangouts. We're gonna have Q&As. We're gonna hopefully have special guests in the future. Of course, play your Kerbal Crafts, answer all your questions about everything that's been happening in space and science and things like that, and just generally hang out. If you are new, welcome. Let us know where you're watching from in the chat. If you haven't yet, join over on our Discord. You can join the chat in our live Hangout tab. I'm in there, so you can talk to me and Marcus and whoever else is there. It looks like G's in the chat as well tonight. And connect with us that way. If you haven't connected with us also over on Twitter, you can do so there at @TLPN_official. And we won't bring it up too many times, but one thing that we are doing for May, June, and July is we are fundraising for St. Jude's Children's Hospital as part of our coverage for Inspiration 4. Inspiration 4 is the first all-civilian mission to space, and they're doing it as a fundraiser. So the goal is to raise $200 million. Jared Isaacman, the benefactor and founder and commander of the Inspiration 4 mission, graciously wrote the $100 million check on top of covering the entire Inspiration 4 mission. So there's $100 million for the rest of us to try to raise, and we want to help be part of that. I know we're all over the world, so and this has been a difficult time. So if you can give, great. If you can't, I totally understand. Even just sharing out that fundraiser is a great help. $5 makes a huge difference. If you click on the link that'll be in the chat there, you can see there's on the side some numbers on kind of just how much your donation can cover. $30 covers a whole meal for a family, and things there. So definitely check that out. We'll bring it up occasionally. But that just really helps out the channel. We, of course, will be down there for the Inspiration 4 launch, and we'll be sitting down, hopefully, with the crew here in the next couple of weeks as well to talk to them. So if you have questions that you want to send in for that, send them in over on Discord, or you can drop them in the comments here tonight, and we will save those for that. But we're going to get started. We're going to pull up a craft here right away that's from G. We were flying a few of his last week. If you have Kerbal Crafts, you can drop those in on our Discord as well, and we'll download those and bring them into the next stream, or we might bring them on tonight, depending when they come in. But yeah, if you guys have questions or anything, drop those in the chat. Use hashtag AskTLP. That'll make sure that I see them. If I don't see them, that one of our mods sees them, and make sure we get those to me so we can hopefully have an answer. We'll address kind of an elephant in the room. Zach, you weren't live for the Atlas launch, for the Saturn launch. What's going on? We are taking just a quick 30-day pause on doing our live streams, or hopefully 30-day pause on our live streams, just to be able to get into the YouTube partner program. Seems like something they weren't super fond of. So we're just doing a quick pause on that, and we'll hopefully have a new way of doing that in the near future. I'll be doing flash updates about launches, and of course, if you do want to follow those launches, you can watch over on our Facebook page. We have been going still live on there, at least with the streams. And then we've been hanging out in our live hangouts over on Discord, which everyone can access. It's open to the public, and just having a kind of Discord stream for those launches. So not missing them completely, just not on YouTube for the next little bit. But lots more content coming out on the YouTube. If you haven't checked out our model videos from our good friends over at Bohimzo, those are some of the models that you see behind me. Check those out. We've got some more reviews coming in the future of other space items. I will never share something as a review if it's something that I don't think you would enjoy or be a really great gift for someone else that's a space fan. It's not something you can just buy my airtime to talk about. I'll only share things that you guys enjoy. So, yeah, but we're going to get into it. I've got a craft pulled up here already from G. This is his replication of SN15. We'll make sure we actually pull this camera over here. There we go. And we should have some audio. There we go. But this is from G. This is his Starship. Now, G has given me how to fly the craft. Now, I just read this for the first time a couple minutes ago. So we're going to see how that goes here tonight and go with that. I'll try it with his instructions. If not, we do have a few mods and stuff downloaded. One of them is called MechJeb. I just got it I've had it for a while, but I just started using it in the last couple of days. Highly recommend. It opens up a whole new world of Kerbal and automation, but it still isn't just like hit land type of thing. There's a lot of details that you can still have to put into it, and I think it kind of simplifies some parts of Kerbal, but also makes other parts more complicated because I feel like you don't just say, let's only go to the Mun. You want to go other places. So let's see who's in the chat. We've got Marcus. We've got Garden from Nashville. Welcome. Folded Eagle. Love your channel. What's happened to BN2? Hello. Well, thank you so much. So glad you're enjoying the channel. That's a good question. Last I saw, BN2 was kind of being built like a pressure test tank. I believe we saw it got sleeved earlier last week into like a part. So we're not too sure. BN3 is going full force ahead and is starting being stacked in the high bay. So we're not too sure on that one. We're keeping an eye on it, but it looks like maybe BN2 was a test unit of some sort, which we saw with like Starship SN7, 7.1, 7.2. We've seen it before where they take a number and just do a part of a tank. So it's possibly that, just like we saw with that weird nose cone and like the cage. We don't really know what that was for. There's a lot of guessing that it was, a pressure test or things like that. But we don't really know. GameStar, what's up? Good to see you. Kevin, do you fly model or amateur rockets? From Kevin. I really want to. I flew a couple model rockets when I was little. We have a place called the Tellus World of Science here in Edmonton that I went and did a couple summer camps at, and one of them was extremely rocket focused. So we built a couple model rockets. Actually, I think I have them still upstairs. I probably should find those. Launched one of the two. One of them wasn't dry yet, so I couldn't launch it. The one I did launch, it launched, and a couple of the fins flew off. But it was recoverable. Not great, but it was recoverable. But I need to get back into it. It's definitely something that I'd like to do. Obviously, I would like to, see if there's a community in the region that does, the kind of larger amateur rockets, the ones that not one person, maybe carries type of thing, that come in a little box from like Walmart. But some real, a little bit more bigger ones there. I do know of a group here that I'm working to get in contact with that have done some weather balloons in the past. I'm an amateur radio operator in the States, working on getting license up here in Canada. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of tap into that side here in the future. SFS World, hello. Andrew, what's up? Fio, hello. James, C1, hey everyone. Barack, would you fly on Deer Moon Starship if given the chance? I think we need to see Starship do some more things before I would answer that as a yes. Inspiration 4, 100%. Blue Origin New Shepard right now, 100%. Soyuz, I'd go, wouldn't be comfortable. So that's where I'm like, if I go to space, I want to be at least somewhat comfortable. But yes, eventually Starship, absolutely. Sometime in my life, do I see myself hopefully flying on a Starship before I die? I hope so. Before I retire, hopefully. I know some of us in our Discord were joking around of, what happens when the channel hits, maybe 100K or something there. So some ideas there that we'll see what happens depending how things with, New Shepard or Crew Dragon are going at the time. And whenever that does happen, we are grateful for every sub. I recognize every one of them. I moderate we do have a couple mods, but I moderate the chat because I want to be connected with this community and connected. So if you ever have questions from videos you see us pour out on the channel, drop them there. I'll make sure that I try to see them. If not, the mods are really great with making sure that I do see them and can get you an answer, hopefully in a not too long there, because we want to build this community and be a group of people that are excited. What took you Canada? I'm from Canada. I'm Canadian. I've lived in the States though. Not currently. I'm in Canada for the last few years, but I've been in the States for about half the year for a number of years. I snowbirded with family. So US is kind of like a second home. You would really fly Blue Origin as is. They've flown 15 equally safe missions. I would not fly New Glenn right now, no. But I think New Shepard I would consider. Obviously, I'm not going to pay the $2.8 million for the seat on the first one. But Blue Origin has been different than SpaceX in the sense of they've done a lot of testing for it. They've done a lot more of the let's just mass repeat for it. They are a slower turnaround, but I think they've proven that they're a safe vehicle. You're also not going into orbit. You're literally just like up, down. So I feel like not that there's less to go wrong, but it's a pretty safe maneuver. You're never getting the orbital speeds or things like that. So what are your thoughts on the new bill that would force a second HLS option? Love your content. Thank you. Thanks, G1. I'm going to save that. We're going to try the Starship, and then I'm going to answer that here once we get this Starship going. So from G's instructions, it says when launching, instead of staging, it says click 1, 2, 3, and then Z, and then click radial out. On 150 meters a second velocity, click 1. When apogee is 7.5 kilometers, click 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're just going to start this. We're going to give this a try and see what's going on here. So we're going to, at launching, we're going to click 1, 2, 3, launch, radial out. And let me know how that volume is of Kerbal. If it's too loud, I can turn that down. But my mic's like right under the speakers of the iMac. So we want to give you the sound, but not blow your ears out if you're headphone users. So at 150 meters a second, I need to click 1. So we're waiting for that here. But keep the questions coming in. I will continue answering those. And there's 1. When apogee is at 7.5, click 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Oh, what? No, state. You don't hear any Kerbal. How about now? Any coming in there? It's kind of a rumble right now. We're coming up on that 7.5 kilometers. 1, 2, 3. When you start belly flopping, click 1, 4, 5, 6, and click retrograde and X. Okay. When I start belly flop, am I going to belly flop? Naturally? When I start falling. Okay. When I start falling, 1, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And retrograde. Kind of doing a little hover right now kind of thing. And we'll begin our fall here in a moment. Six, retrograde, and X. 600 meters from the ground level, click 7 and Z. Okay. Take a little peek around the craft here. There's the engines. See, our landing legs are in here. We're doing our flop now. Coming in hot. 600 meters from ground level, 7 and Z. Okay, we can do that. If I want 650, we're going to go 650 and just be, seems when SpaceX did it a little earlier, it went a little bit better. So we're going to give that a try here. If you're just joining us, welcome. You're watching the launch pad. This is our landing pad, which is our weekly night hangout, where you can send in your questions, comments, things you're seeing in the space industry that we want to talk about. We play Kerbal. We play your crafts. We're currently flying a Starship from G, which is replicating SN15's flight. And yeah, we're also hanging out in our Discord. We have our live comms in there. So if you want to join the conversation, you can do that as well. We're coming down here, 657 and Z. 6, 7 and Z. At 150 meters, we want gear deploy. Oh, what's it doing? We're going back up. Land somewhere. Oh, we just activated mech jeb quickly there. Here's the landing legs. Oh, wait, what? Okay, so we do have landing legs. It doesn't want to show them right now, but that's okay. But there we go. That is a great build there, G. The landing legs are invisible sometimes. I would say so, but that's awesome. It was a good, clean build. We'll give that a try again there. We use MechJeb, as you can see, just at that ending part because it started going back up just because we wanted to make that attempt here. But I had seen a few questions come in, so we'll make sure we get to those here. What are your thoughts on the new build that will force a second HLS option? We'll see what happens. I think there could be a bill that forces it, and then NASA will say, well, we don't have the budget. And I think that's what we're expecting to see happen. That's not going to stop SpaceX. That's the nice thing about SpaceX is because they're a private company, they're able to continue forward without doing, I'll switch this here. They don't need NASA's funding. It would be a great help to have that extra, few $billion, but it's not required for them to continue. Possibly this could cause SpaceX, like a lot of people thought SpaceX might beat Artemis program to the moon as it is. This thing with HLS and the bills maybe probably guarantees it because it'll delay Artemis should they not be able to start picking it up. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. They've got until, I believe it was August to see the actual decision happen from the GAO, the government agency that kind of does the oversight. But we'll see what other bills come out because yes, there are a few builds there. What excites you more, space tourism or space exploration? I think exploration is amazing. I think we're learning a lot of things. I think space tourism meets exploration is where it's at. Like the whole Artemis program, if you didn't see our video when we talked about their two big announcements that kind of started the channel off after our interviews with the Inspiration 4 crew, we talked about the HLS contract announcement. Then we talked about the new spacesuits. And in that video, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Because in that video, we talk about where they want the spacesuits to be used. And they want one suit. And I think that's where it's space commercialization and space exploration will be huge. And then tourism will just be a subset of that. Because there's a lot of destinations they want to go to of like asteroids, the moons, not just our moon, other moons, for bases or mining or manufacturing or different things. So I think we could see a lot of stuff happening that way in the near future. It all relies really on Starship being proven. In that document, we did talk about how they're planning everything with Artemis around Orion, not Starship, because Orion's the capsule NASA has. So it was interesting seeing that. We put some of those up on screen. You probably have to pause them to really read through the document. It was like 200-300 page documents that we went through to make that video. That we'll probably do a follow-up once we have some more details start to come out on that program. So yeah, what do you think of the UFO thing that's been in the news, 60 Minutes, etc.? Does it look like extraterrestrials to you? We'll find out on June 25th. No. UFO, and I think this is where a lot of the science community is, UFO means unidentified flying object to you. Does not mean alien. That's kind of where the misconception really happens. Also, we need to remember, just because the military say they don't know what something is, doesn't mean they don't know what something is. If you look at the early stealth fighters, if you look at early fighter jets and stuff, they did not tell the public what they were. They were secretive missions. They were secretive testing. So there, and there's also plans that, governments also sometimes release stuff to kind of tease the population on, are they kind of ready? Like, and I think if I scroll it back, some of the big tech firms had the first smartphones over a decade before they actually released them. They didn't think society was ready to have that type of device. They weren't ready. Society wasn't ready. If that's what we're talking about just with a smartphone, what would we be talking about like for a vessel that could go in any direction immediately? Things like that. There's a lot of drones. We know you can go buy a drone commercially that can literally do that. So what's saying that the government wouldn't have been able to find a way to make bigger versions of that? If anyone's going to be able to do it, it's going to be one of the big countries. So the question is it the US? It's not Canada, I can guarantee you that. Is it Russia? Is it China? Is it, who is it? The other thing is they have to make a report by June 25th, supposedly. No one is talking about how that report could be 10,000 pages long and be completely redacted, except the title. They can make a report. Doesn't mean we have to be allowed to read it. So I think there's a lot there, 32. It's definitely something everyone's talking about, but we'll see what happens. I think there'd be more evidence if it was extraterrestrials. We're a pretty smart community of people, Team Space. There's a lot of private telescopes and stuff now. I think we'd be seeing more than we have. If there was something else. And if it is extraterrestrials, great. I hope they come in peace, because if they don't, we're in trouble. Check out what our Discord's saying here. If I throw a football at you and you didn't realize what it is, it's a UFO until it hits you and you notice it's a football no longer flying. That's from our Discord. That is very true. From it. We have Andrew. Welcome, Andrew. I'm not sure I've seen your name before, so welcome if you're new. From it, have you considered starting a Luna multiplayer server, maybe doing a group space station? It's a really good. If I'm looking this way, we're working on a studio tour, which then you'll have an idea of what I'm looking at. I've got 3 screens, so Discord's here, Kerbal's in the middle, you guys are over here. That's a really good idea. I have played around with Luna just a little bit. It is something we want to do. We are planning as part of our Inspiration for fundraiser to do like a 12-hour or a 24-hour stream coming up in the future. So we definitely are, that'd be a really great way of doing that, having people come on board, either streaming their own building or doing it that way. So that's definitely an option there, but I'll definitely take a look at it. And yeah, I see a bunch of people on the Discord. Welcome. If you haven't joined yet, we'll drop the Discord link in the chat for you. It's free to join. More than half of our Discord is open to the public. And then if you do want to help support the channel, we do have our Patreon. That is a huge way of helping, just the channel continue doing streams like this, getting down to Kennedy, and expanding our team so we can have the best possible coverage for you guys here. So we're going to switch this over here. Bring that back around. There we go. Kerbal's going to think if it wants to do it. And then I'm going to pull up one of the other crafts and do a little bit. We'll just show what MechJeb can do. But yeah, keep the questions coming in the chat. It can be, as you can see, about anything. We've gone from Blue Origin to UFOs. So definitely drop those in the chat here. So this is what we were just flying with the Starship there. And we'll come back, give that a flight here again a little bit later on in the evening. I wanted to find, we have one that's kind of like a remake of so this one? Yes. This is a good example one for that. So we're going to go launch. So this one is kind of like a mock-up of the Saturn V that you can see behind me there. It's slightly off in a little bit, but it's a good one for the example of using MechJeb. So we'll do that here. I see GI. Do you have plans to visit Starbase? Please. Yes, absolutely. Right now, everything's going to saving for the trip for the Inspiration 4 coverage, having been invited to that. Want to be sure that we're able to do our best on the ground coverage for that. If it's possible to add on a Starbase like detour on the way home, I am looking at that. I'd love to be down there and see Starbase, in the early years, the first really year and a half, 2 years of its operation. Hopefully see a fully stacked Starship at that point. That's in September. We'll be heading down. So hopefully we'll see a fully stacked Starship. So we'll see how it lines up and see if I can add that on. I've had a few invites with people that are living down there to kind of crash at their place or things. So there's definitely a great community of team space. And I know some of them are coming for Inspiration 4. So maybe we'll just all fly back together too, and we'll make it work. So absolutely. If not in September, I would hope maybe, but before next summer would be my hope. We do have to see how this, fun year and a half fundemic keeps going. Right now, U.S. is opening up a lot. Canada, depending where you are, we're still in pretty much lockdown. My province is being hit worse than it has the entire time. So right now, the border's not open, so I can't even go if I wanted to. I can go, I can't come back easily. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But hopefully September, I've got my first shot. Hopefully we'll get my second by then. And then we can be back on the ground not back on the ground for the first time and stuff. If you guys are in the Florida area or the Starbase area, if I do get down there, hopefully we can, if the pandemic allows, do kind of like a lunch or a dinner meetup. It'd be great to kind of start building this community in person as well. I know we have Marcus, who's in our chat and our Discord, who you see is down in Florida, who's done some live stuff from Kennedy for us, and will be doing stuff in the future as well. Hopefully, we hope Marcus wants to do it. Seems to. So hopefully we'll have some more coverage down in the Cape starting up in the fall as well. Do you think SpaceX will learn how to land super heavy faster than Starship due to their experience flying upright with grid fins? Yes, absolutely, Caden. I think that's going to be a huge part. They'll be able. You can't just scale up a Falcon 9. That's not, when you scale up, and I was learning about this with 3D modeling too, looking at doing some custom ones. When you double a model size in scale, you're actually tripling, if not more, the model. So it's the same idea with the rockets, because it's not just 2-dimensional, it's 3-dimensional. So there is a lot more to learn with Super Heavy. Obviously, it's way taller, it's way heavier. There's a lot there that they'll have to learn, but what they know from Falcon 9 and how successful they've been with Falcon 9 will definitely be a huge asset to them doing that. Have you ever been to the Cape before or seen a launch? Doesn't matter by who. Yes, to Kennedy. I was very lucky enough to go during the shuttle era in 2004 or 5. I'll have to get a picture. I have a picture upstairs of my family at Kennedy. We were lucky enough to do one of the VIP tours before they kind of wrapped those up. And it was, we went out on the bus out to the pad. We didn't go right onto the pad, but we were pretty close. We went out to an old observatory, which I'm not sure is there anymore. Of course, did the Apollo Center. Drove around quite a bit. Drove around the VAB a couple times. The VAB was open. There was a space shuttle inside. There wasn't a launch, unfortunately, that lined up with when we were there in Florida at all. So we didn't get to see a launch. But Inspiration 4 will be the first. And then, I'm just thinking we'll go Inspiration 4, first civilian flight, and then we'll go see a Starship test. I mean, that just sounds pretty good to me. No launches yet, but Kennedy, yes. I look forward to being back. It's changed so much since I was down there. I'm also a lot older, so I'm probably going to remember it better. I was probably like 8 or something when I was there last, but I was the reason we went, and I'm excited that we got to do that. Didn't know you're from Canada. I am too. BC, glad to see. Oh, that's awesome, Caden. Yeah, absolutely. It's surprising. There's a lot of Canadians interested in space, but we don't connect. So we're trying to build that. We're looking, that's what the Discord is. So if you know other people that are in Canada or anywhere in the world that are interested in space, let's build the Discord. Let's build that community and see how we can support each other. Can you give a rundown of SN20? Ooh, good idea. Yeah, we can do that, Golden. I'm just going to catch up on these comments here. Great point. I'm interested to see how fast they progress super heavy. Absolutely, me too. Hey, Infinite Space, good to see you. Andrew, what pass did the observatory overlook? When I was there, there was one. Yeah, it was 39A. It was a white observatory. And then I believe the observatory is gone, and they now have two big signs that tell you what was at each pad 39A and pad 39B. There used to be a big observatory. Well, not big, but there was an observatory there. From what I can tell from the photos and videos I've been deciphering, I'm hoping to get down there and see. I'm trying to find our old hard drives. Literally going through hard drives that are like 15 and 20 years old, trying to find photos. Because I'd love to go and do those like retakes of before and after and things like that, and be able to release those to you guys. Anyone here get to see a shuttle launch? Oh, 131. Oh, I'm sure it was Caden. I'm excited to see SLS, hopefully, in the future, if that ever launches. SLS is going to be the closest that most of us probably will get to see shuttle, or feel similar to the shuttle with those SRBs. So we're going to give that, how many gigabytes? Megabyte? Let's be honest, it's probably megabytes. Does it even say on it? This one doesn't. There's a few other ones that are like this one over here says, this was one of my old ones. This was 640 gigabytes. So that's that. The really funny part is this is 6 terabytes. So luckily technology is advancing. But that's what that is there. So we're going through those, hopefully find those old photos for you here. But I digress. We're going to give MechJeb a planner. So as you can see on my screen, I've got a few things open. We've got our ascent guidance. We've got our aircraft approach and auto landing. And we got our landing guidance. I normally leave those 3 up. We're also going to need to turn on our rendezvous autopilot. Don't need that just yet, but we are going to need that and go from there. So what we're going to do, we're going to set our orbital altitude. We're just going to put that to 100. Note, this says kilometers, not meters. I made that mistake once and launched myself into a solar orbit for it. And then you want to just go through what it can do. So do you want it to do auto staging? Do you want it to do a roll? Things like that. So we want to auto warp as well, is really nice. So once it knows what it's doing, it can speed up, just so you're not sitting here for like 50 minutes for it to slowly go around. And I think that's everything. The roll's on. Yep. So the nice thing with this is you would literally go engage, and then you just stage your first one. And if you've built it right, it just goes. So we'll just stage. You can turn RCS on if you want it from it. What version of KSP are you running for MechJeb? This should be the most recent one I've updated to. I believe it's 1. Ooh, I'd have to check on that. I know some of the models say there are. Well, see, this is MechJeb. Sometimes it does random things. That's not how you would actually launch it. Yeah, 1.11 then. That's it, Andrew. Knew there was a lot of ones. A Radio Shack magazine from 1989. I'll have to share pictures with you. Absolutely, that'd be awesome, Bradley. Mark, been in Cape for Crew 1, Starlink 23, seen a bunch of other non-shuttle launches over the years from the campus. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Marcus is in a great location. This is slowly coming around. See, this is where we could have gone edit our ascent path. So see, this is where we're having a slight issue here. We want to actually turn and do like a curve. A little bit more of a curve there. There we go. No. Maybe it is. Not sure. Slight issue. Exactly. It's just, slight, just little bit. We didn't rocket lab. No, hopefully they'll be back out on the pad here shortly. Last time it was about 2 months, not even. So hopefully we'll see them before July. Yeah, closer resembles a space plane. You can see our ascent changing there. We were obviously a little too steep. What is that thing doing? It's flying. We normally a rocket would do more like this type of ascent. So this was not a very good. See, this is where I say MechJeb is good, but you have to be able to program it well. So I find it you have to know a bit more of the space science to really be able to use the MechJeb really well. Um, so we're just gonna warp up here, just a little faster. You can see it did engine cutoff there. If we go down to maneuver, we can see we've already got an apoapsis of 100. So what it'll do now is it's going to coast us a little bit. And then it might actually give us a time warp here. Wasn't it great? Did it just RCS pitch up? Yeah. Oh yeah, it does its thing. I kind of just let it go. If it gets to space. That's a good question. Remind me where to look that up. Yep. If you wonder who I'm talking to and I'm not looking this way, I'm talking to my Discord. So, Blue Origin, new Blue Origin tagline: if it just gets to space. Oh, we might just have to put that on a shirt. I mean, that's basically what they want to make people as astronauts now. Like, you just have to get to space. You don't have to go in orbit. You just have to get to space. Yes. Funny part is, I'm pretty sure this is from KSP. But it works. It's functional. I did do some building on here. There we go. Okay, yeah. If any of you guys, or I know Marcus is going to drop a build in here, I'll pull that up and we'll give that a try as well. We're just going to get rid of this stage now because we don't really need it. But what we'll do, target, set as target. We're going to, okay, autopilot is off. We want to rendezvous. Let's do 10,000 meters. And there we go. Have they built the other half of the New Glenn fairing? It's been like a year. Good question. Does anybody know? Let's find out. You find it funny that they are already building segments of Gateway Station before we have any vehicles that are like able to get there. Like Crew Dragon could get there, but it's not going to be really functional. Yeah, it was March 2020. They showed off the one half of the finished nose cone. So I would hope they have the second half done, even with the pandemic. This morning, in my career mode, I sent my first relay satellite to Duna just as I entered Duna, so I realized I forgot to actually put the relay satellite on the build. No. You can ask Marcus. I've done that just a few times. You gonna warp us or no? No? Okay. He's done so. Thanks, Marcus. What you do a thing and you learn a little. Hey, thanks for the support there, Caden. Appreciate your donation. That's amazing. Thank you so much for helping. It's true. Every $5 really makes a difference, and St. Jude's doing a lot of good work. So excited to partner with Inspiration 4 in doing this. This is amazing. SSTO Saturn V. So yeah, Golden was asking about SN20 while we wait for this just to do what it's doing. What's next after SN20? Well, you also mentioned what an overview of SN20 is. If you go to our flash update from a few days ago, we did go through the plans that came from the telemetry filing with the FCC. So a lot of people thought it was from an FAA document. It was not. It was the FCC because SpaceX was getting the right ground stations and things like that. So that is why we needed to know kind of roughly where it was going to go, because they needed to know the ground stations and the SAT coverage. So that's what we were seeing with that. So it's going to launch out of Brownsville, out of Starbase. The big thing about Starbase, though, it's a really great option for just like making a destination, helping build that community. Not a ton really around it. There's almost nowhere you can launch to. It's going to be good for Mars, and that's about it. Now they could launch and then change in orbit, but that takes a lot more fuel and everything. They have right now about 2 degrees that they're able to launch from it to squeeze between like Florida and the islands and Mexico. So that's where we're seeing them launch during SN20. They'll come around. Now, a lot of people are pointing out it's not an orbital flight. They don't have a deorbit burn, which means they probably never got into orbit. This was the FCC document. That doesn't mean there isn't going to be a deorbit burn. We'll have to wait for the FAA document for that. I think they're going to get into an orbit and then bring it back. Why else? You're already there. You may as well prove it at the same time. And then they are going to touch down the booster just off the coast of Brownsville, but splash down Starship. So SN20 will go bye-bye, unfortunately. And then the super heavy, most people are expecting BN3, just at the current pace they're going, will touch/splash down. We don't really know. They don't really have a vessel they could land it on at this point. There we go. See, MechJev just does its thing. So we don't really know what that means. They said touchdown. They're not going back to Starbase based on their plans. They want to make sure that they're actually able to land one of these things first. So we'll have to wait and see. So that's kind of a quick rundown of SN20. And then what's next? We assume SN21. As they go now, we've seen they kind of do them in sets of 3 and 4s, even though they schedule about 7. They do about 4 or so of them. Then they scrub a couple and move to the next generation. I think SN20, we might see that one more time, and then we're going to start seeing them really getting into the testing of building out the structure. All the Starships we've tested don't have any of the like building part, like the living quarters or cargo or anything. So they're going to have to start testing that type of stuff. There's obviously going to be the clamshell that they need to build for the cargo, for like Starlinks and things. Starlink's going to be the first thing we ever see launch on a Starship before crew. So we're probably going to see that in the next, if they keep going the rate they're going, I'm hoping maybe in a year, like next summer, maybe we see the first Starlink, like active Starlink missions from it. So yeah, we'll take a look and see there. Golden Gamer, I think Falcon Heavy is launching Gateway. Yes, they are going to be using a Falcon Heavy to launch the first 2 modules, Gateway Station, in an extended fairing. So they'll be doing that. Trying to remember when they scheduled it. It's not long away. We're going to start seeing some more Falcon Heavies, which is nice. We've only seen 3 before, but it'll be nice to see them start to pick up. I think there's 4 or 5 already on the kind of docket for it. MB, do you think SpaceX will be happy with the landing of SN15? If so, do you think they will skip SN16 to 19 and just focus on SN20 and BN3 to orbit? Ooh, interesting. I think they were happy with SN15. The fact that they took a few days, looked it over, and then put it back on a test stand means I think they're very happy with it, because it at least means they're maybe going to attempt either static fires, pressure tests, something, if not just going for a whole nother flight. If they go for another flight, Could we see them do a higher altitude? Maybe. The reason they went from 12.5 kilometers down to 10 after the first flight was because once they passed that 10-kilometer mark, there's different winds, and that was causing a bigger issue. So they wanted to prove it at one altitude, and then they'll go to the next. So we need to see them go higher before we see them go into space. I think we probably need to see at least like a 15 or maybe a 20, somewhere in there. But I do not think they're going to skip SN 16 to 19. They're already being built. 16's done. 17's, I believe, ready to be stacked. 18 and 19, those are going to be scrapped. They haven't even started on those from what we can tell from the parts that you can follow. It's either Braden or Brandon Lewis on Twitter. We normally retweet his kind of infographics tracking what all the parts are from the aerial shots. So yeah, 18, 19 we won't see. I think we'll see 15, 16, 17, 17. Then SN 20. Could it land on just read the instructions or of course I still love you? I don't think size-wise it could, because they won't have like an octograb or anything big enough to hold it. It's like you could land it, but like if you get one good wave, it's just gonna fall over. Type of thing. Like even with the Falcon 9s, they land it and then they have to grab it before they start moving. So they would have to do something different there. They do have those 2 oil platforms, which should be, I haven't seen any photos of them recently, but they were really taking down the entire structures of them. So could they maybe have one of those ready as like a flat deck to try to just land on? Maybe, but not too sure. Yeah, also they would have to transition one of their drone ships. That's a good point, Marcus, out to Texas. That'll take a bit. Absolutely, that'll take quite a bit of time. We probably have to see that now, which is not going to happen with how busy they are with Falcon 9s. They do have their 3rd drone ship they're working on, but that'll be used, I believe. Some aren't sure if it's going to be East Coast. I believe it's East Coast as well, but they're looking at expanding out west as well. Cool. Is there like 1 or 2 scheduled Falcon launches this year? I believe there's... Let me double check it. I know there's at least 1 this year. There might have been 2. Let's double check this, get you the real information. So we've got U.S. Space Force, USS F-44, scheduled actually for July 4th, I think. No, that's just the 4th launch. Well, it would have been cool if it was July 4th. Sometime July. We don't have a date on it yet. That's going to be launching some sort of 2 separate satellites and 2 ride shares. Then we have October 2021, another U.S. Space Force, USSF 52. And then we have at least 4 scheduled now for 2022. And then 1 in 2023, at least 2 in 2024, which are the Artemis. So yeah, definitely we're going to start seeing a lot more Falcon Heavies, a lot more of those. So let's take a look at what this craft is doing, see if it has an idea. What's it doing here? Let's just... Oh, I know what it's doing. It would probably help if I staged it so it actually has fuel. There we go. Which we probably burned out all of our RCS as well. So this is when you do good old cheat mode. Because we're trying to demo. We'll put that. We don't need power. We need that one. So you're going to listen now? Yeah, there we go. Give it a minute. It'll do a burn and get it going. Let's see here. Caden, are they just going to dock all the sections of Gateway in orbit? No EVA construction required. I believe they're launching straight to Lunar. I don't believe they're building it here and then moving it. So they're building it in lunar orbit. They're launching the first 2 stages together. So I don't believe they have anything that they need to do. They'll be ready to go for it. They could use a super heavy to demo the rig. Demo. Okay, yeah, possibly. Brandon, Zach, choose a name. Choose a name for what? Oh, I see what you're saying. So the landing pad is going to be our weekly night hangouts. This was voted on by the viewers. I get it's confusing. We're working on clarifying that a little cleaner. But this is the launch pad. This will always be the launch pad. But this is the landing pad where you can come kind of. It was landing pad. We had like the tri-vent. We had the great depress. Things like that. So choose a name as in past. Yes. Chose a name. There we go. Yep. Game Start. I live in California, so last year I went to Vandenberg to watch the Falcon 9 launch. It was probably the most amazing thing I've ever seen. With my yeah, that'd be cool. I would love to get out to Vandenberg. Sounds good, Brad. I get where you're going with it now. But yeah, Vandenberg, now it's Vandenberg Space Force Station. They did just rename that. So another one of those there. And I feel like I've missed Discord here. How late was streaming? I'm going to dip. Oh, I will be here. Well, last time we were here for like 3 hours. So we'll be here for a little bit. Do I have any Kraken crafts? Oh, so many. So many Kraken crafts. The Great Depress is funny. The Great Depress is like, well, we'll do a special. Like if something really bad happens or something, we'll do a Great Depress. I'll wear the helmet. I'm debating taking the helmet to Inspiration 4. I'd love to see what would happen when I show up at Kennedy Space Center wearing it. I'm ready to go. Where do I check in? You said it was the first all-civilian flight. I'm here. So I can see here it's going to where we'll have that encounter. Going to do a burn here. Let's see here. There we go. So that's just doing our burn here, and then once it does the burn, what we'll do is we'll end the rendezvous, and I will show the rendezvous with the moon, and we can show you the rendezvous with the two capsules. Does Dragon have the capability, like Orion, to do deep space missions outside low Earth orbit? I thought I heard something about that lacking no additional radiation. Yep. So Dragon can do 10-day missions. I believe they said to the moon was like for how far it could go. I'd have to double check on that. It is certified to do at least 10-day missions, like living in them. The radiation's a good point, so I'd have to take a look on that. But yes. So we're going to just disengage our autopilot here. Going to get rid of the escape tower. Jettison there. And now we are going to transfer one of our crew. Jebediah is going to go into the LEM. And then what we do here, stage. And we hope not to crash into each other. Technically, yes. Our Discord is saying technically they would have launched or docked before they transferred. Technically, yes, but this is Kerbal. We don't do technical. This launch abort system is. Say that one more time there. No, probably not. Where's your adventure? There. Now those are programmed to go each other there. Yes, that launch abort system is making history, making it the furthest into space. Absolutely, it does. Those are slowly, um, sort of rendezvousing. This is MechJeb. Doesn't always work. Let's see what it's doing. I just want to take it for, just a quick little spin. I know last week we mentioned someone mentioned we should do career and like work on that. So we might start that tonight. If not, we'll start that next week. This is trying. We're just gonna dock them ourselves. We call this RCSM reaction wheel proof test. Yes. Attach, please. Excuse me. Dock. Why don't they want to dock? Oh, where are you going? Where? Excuse me. Never had to do this before. We're just slowly spin in a circle. You're still operating it better than Boeing? Ooh. Not sure if that's a compliment to me or an insult to both of us. At least I got into space. I'm in an orbit. Okay, come on. Go for docking. Eh? Eh? Really? You're gonna... I've got nothing else turned on. They should dock just fine. We're gonna try this one more time here, and then we might just reload this with a different craft from Discord. Come on, dock. This is bizarre. I've docked this one like a number of times. This shouldn't make an ish difference, but we'll see. Ta-da! Hey Joe, hello from Tennessee. Welcome. I mean, we sort of needed that engine, but you know what? We can get on without it. Cause why? Cause it's Kerbal. And because we spent so much time on that, we're just gonna jump and land this, and then try some more of your crafts. Orbit, mine, jump. There we go. And then we're going to pick target coordinates. Now these coordinates, I believe, are the coordinates of the Apollo landing site on here, according to Marcus at last check. So we're going to give these an attempt. Yes, please. Yes. There we go. They're transferred. We're going to, after all that hard work at docking these two, we're going to undock them. And these ones are going to land at target. If you're just joining us, welcome. Yes, this is still the launch pad. We're not changing our name. The landing pad is what we're calling our weekly night hangouts, thanks to your guys' suggestions and voting. If you got questions, comments, anything like that, topics you want to talk about, drop them in the chat. If you haven't joined Discord yet, you can do that. Join the conversation in the chat or on air if you'd like to. Oh, well, on air in Discord. Send in your Kerbal crafts and send in news tips and things like that. If you want to help support the channel, you can check out Patreon. And we're also doing our Inspiration 4 fundraiser. So definitely take a quick look at that and support if you are able to. Know it's a difficult time, so only do it if you truly can. Anyone know the altitude relative to the moon the Apollo crew module orbited? A lot lower than what I just did. It was orbits below 100 kilometers are considered low lunar orbit. They have a period of about 2 hours. They were at 110 kilometers or 69 miles or 60 nautical miles. Is when they went into their parking orbit. Yeah. Yeah, you're right on there, Joe. So with MechJeb, what it does is it shows your target landing spot and then what will actually happen here. So it will start to slow us down once we actually get closer to it. Oh, this is where you have to remember with MechJeb, you need to turn on the engines. They don't auto turn them on. Oh, thanks there, 007. Appreciate that. We'll throw that up here just so if you haven't seen it, has the info. There we go. I'll peek out over it. Hello. There we go. It's based on thing. Hey, the details are good, and there's something that if people don't know them, they'll get forgotten. So it's, I mean, you'll be able to look them up, but it won't be something people really know. So now that we have kind of coasted a little bit, you can see this blue cross. That is where we will land right now if we didn't do anything else. Now we will be working on slowing that down, or when I say we, the automated system, because we're like SpaceX and we just let the rocket do everything. And we'll be hopefully coming down next to where the Apollo Memorial is on the Mun. But keep the questions coming in. If you have crafts you want me to fly or any mods or things like that you want us to check out, we can do that as well. We're not only going to go do Kerbal, we're going to bring out a few different things. We'll be hopefully having for our next weekly night, our next The Landing Pad broadcast. Got to get used to that. A bingo kind of sheet opportunity that we're working on that while playing Kerbal. If I do certain things, you'll be able to get, dots on your bingo sheet. And if your bingo sheet gets a bingo or 2 bingos or 3, we hope that never happens, you'll get a different discount code for the shop that evening. So depending how good I am at Kerbal, depends at how much more you have to pay in the shop. But let's be honest, you'll probably get a bingo. Is there any good space games other than KSP? I mean, no, not really. It's KSP2. Can we count that? It is technically a game. Technically, they're playing it, but one day we'll have it. But we're working on that bingo. If there are certain things that you do all the time in Kerbal that you think maybe I do or that you've seen me do, drop it in the chat. We'll save all those. We'll put those on the bingo sheet. We're working out if we're just going to have one group bingo sheet in the Discord for everyone that gets access to, or if we'll do like individuals. But to play along with that, you'll want to join the Discord. We'll make a new tab for Kerbal Bingo and work on that starting next week, hopefully here. We're just figuring out what's the best way of making it easy to do. We're just going to warp here just a little bit because it doesn't seem to want to, and it's very slow. There's the Earth there, Kerbal. If you weren't on Twitter today, while we wait for this to kind of do its thing, we did see from NASA Spaceflight that the Sheila Bordon, the ship they've been using for fairing recovery, did depart for the last time and is heading back home from it. So another SpaceX fleet vehicle has finished its service, and it looks like they're going to be using, I believe, Ghost Searcher for the fairing collection. So no official statement there from SpaceX, but the Sheila Bordon does plotted its route, and that's public on where its next dock is going to be. And it's definitely not anywhere near SpaceX. So it is done and all wrapped up. Folded Eagle, what are your thoughts on the new NASA administrator, Ben Nielsen? I thought Jim Bridenstine did a great job changing the culture at NASA. Really good question there, Folded. Jim Bridenstine was probably the first NASA administrator I really followed, just because of like my age, following space more seriously. So absolutely, I know he did a lot of amazing things. Hopefully, we will maybe one day get to do an interview with him and kind of pick his brain on his many years there. He is a big reason why we have some of the programs we do. I think Administrator Ben Nielsen or Senator Ben Nielsen has fought for NASA in the Senate, has fought for funding. So I think that's a really good thing too, because he has the perspective of who he has to, for lack of better words, fight to keep NASA going. He knows what they look for. He knows that system, at least to some degree. So I think that'll be helpful. But I think Jim Bridenstine is the one that we all kind of know and love, that really started Artemis and pushed it forward and was there for so many firsts that it's kind of weird not to have him there now. The last few months, it's been like, where's Jim? We need Jim back. SpaceX, hire him as a moderator or something. We need Jim back. We need Jim saying his catchphrase: American rockets for American soil, American astronauts. Golden Gamer, will the landing pad be every Wednesday or whenever you can on the week? The hope is to do it every Wednesday right now. We're going to put a poll up tonight on YouTube on what day of the week works best for everyone. Now, let's say there was a launch or something happening tonight, then obviously we would push it either a day before or earlier. And it might not always be evenings. So, like, we want to try to have something that's set, like every Wednesday. It's at this time. I would have done Fridays, but I'm probably going to have, once the pandemic's over, I'll have a different commitment on Fridays in the evening that could interfere. Not always, but could. So we'll probably try to stick with Wednesday nights now, halfway through the week and catch up on the weekend and stuff that's happening. And then we might do an afternoon one sometimes on like a Saturday or things like that. So landing pad may or may not be just once a week. Or it might just be times that, hey, we're all hanging out in Discord. Why not? Let's just go live and do a landing pad. We want to build the community for it, but we want to try to make sure that we have one or two for sure kind of set times that people know to be able to come on. Just makes it a little bit easier there. Joe, send you a message on Facebook. I'd like to collaborate sometime or maybe have as a guest. Oh, awesome, Joe. Thank you. I will go take a look at that. I'm not sure I saw that come in. Let me go look at that here. While this is extremely slowly here, we're just gonna warp forward just a little bit because we can, and land at target, and then we'll let it do its thing. Let me go look for that here, Joe. There we go. There we go, Joe. We're connected now. Saturn V from Boca Chica. Ooh. Could be interesting. Very loud. I mean, that's basically what Starship. Like, Starship is not going to be able to launch from Boca Chica on a stacked super heavy booster at full thrust because because of how loud it is. Like they'll have to put in a much larger exclusion zone, which if they do that, that's going to interfere with the city, with Port Isabel and South Padre and all that. So they'll have some issues there. So they have to watch for that. That's one reason they're doing the orbital test stands and like the orbital launch facilities, is then they don't have to worry about it. If you watched For All Mankind with Sea Dragon, you know, one, they needed the ocean to be able to launch that rocket. And this was a real theoretical rocket. It's never been built, but you would need the ocean for it, one. But two, it's the sound. You couldn't be close because the sound would literally kill you. And then the heat would kill you at a different distance. So something they're having to watch with Starship for sure, is watching out on that damage. I'm going to catch up over on the Discord here. There we go. Now it's time warping us the way it should. Bring us down a little bit faster. I don't think from Boca Chica Village care. They get kicked out monthly. Boca Chica Village, no. The people that live in Boca Chica Village are Team Space people that want to be there. People in Brownsville and Port Isabel and stuff that are right on the edge of the exclusion zone, those people would care if they started having to be evacuated, which is definitely something that I'm sure got taken into account by SpaceX when they started building, was where they put the pad to draw that line, because it's right at the edge of that port, for that exclusion zone. So I think, we'll obviously see, Elon had made the suggestion that they'll launch Starships by itself out to the orbital pad, and then the boosters might be floated out, and then they'll be stacked, and then Starship will land, and then Starship will get stacked on the booster, and then the people will come on a boat and go from there. So it would be interesting to see what happens. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know yet. So we're coming in here, and now we're going to take a look out for this memorial that's supposedly here. I have not actually done this yet. I do not know exactly where we're looking for this. And keep the questions coming. Can be about SpaceX, Starship, Blue Origin, Rocket Lab, Astra. Lots of different people to talk about. Yeah, we're slowly coming in here. On the inside, there's our two Kerbals. I want to get close to a stack launch. It's the closest I can get to seeing a Saturn V launch up close. A stack launch? You mean Starship? Oh, we're going to land right on top of the memorial. Great. Here's our landing gear. We're just going to do a little pushover. Yes, we did just do one, but we can do another. Oh, we're going to land. Oh, okay. That was fantastic. We're going to... We're going to try to get a little bit closer here. At least to be up on this ledge so we don't have to come up that cliff edge. There we go. Now we're coming back down here. Have a good night, Joe. We'll talk to you later. There we go. We're coming in nice and slow. And touchdown. There we go. Will you refly the SM-15? Yep, that's the next one I'm planning on doing here. We're going to just come around here, deploy our ladder, and EVA. I think we'll ever see a Saturn launch again. No, Starship will... There'll be no reason with Starship to do that. I mean, it'd be cool, but not required. We're just looking for where this... There's the memorial. And typical Kerbal, we just fall over. I see what you're saying. Like replicas and stuff? Maybe. I mean, there are a couple replicas. Like, there's the one at Kennedy, and there's like parts elsewhere. So maybe one day I could see that happening. But it's actually quite a large monument. I think there's a sign on this side. Welcome back, Andrew. I don't understand how hard it would be to make to. I don't understand how hard it would be to remake the F1s. We've done more with less. It's true. But there we go. So we're here. There's the Earth, Kerbal. There's the memorial. And we're going to fly back to our ship here. If you're just joining us, welcome back here to the launch pad. This is our landing pad broadcast. It's our weekly hangout. We answer your questions, have guests, hopefully in the future, but play your Kerbal crafts as well. So lots of things to be coming up with the landing pad here, on top of everything we do on the channel. And pull back, pull back. There we go. We just want to go back in here, and we will leave them on the surface. If your computer's powered enough, I would recommend the Parallax mod. Not sure I've looked into that one yet. Is that the realism one? There we go. And then we are going to Alt, what are you doing? We just finished landing on the Mun with one of the crafts here. So we're doing that, but we're hanging out, answering your questions, talking about everything space, space flight, space engineering, and the future of space and STEM. These are weekly night hangouts where hang out, just play Kerbal, fly some of your crafts. If you're not in our Discord, feel free to jump over on that. We'll have the link here in the in the chat in just a moment. It's free to join our Discord. You can chat with me directly on comms. Or hang out in Discord anytime, get early access, different things like that. But yeah, these are our just weekly night kind of chill hangout times. Bold Eagle has it, I'm assuming, has it been confirmed if Lunar Starship will be able to return to low Earth orbit? If so, could you almost replace Orion with a Dragon? Theoretically, yes. Yeah, there would be nothing necessarily stopping Lunar Starship from doing that. It would just have to do a burn. It would all be about what fuel it has, which would you'd probably just have to take a tanker out there. It's going to need to be refueled eventually, and that's the big question: is it going to be refueled in low Earth orbit, or is it going to be refueled in low lunar orbit, so LLO? So that's something that hasn't been really confirmed yet. But theoretically, yes, it could return to LEO. And then I think one of the exciting things with Lunar Starship when we see it happen is eventually they will get retired. Now, are they going to retire it? Ooh, the light changed. Are they going to retire it into being a space station or retire it on the ground? Because I think that's going to make a big difference. Let's fix this here. Make a big difference on what happens with it. Yeah. We'll put that one kind of there. Patrick looks fun. I love space travel and moon colony ideas. Awesome. Yeah, Marcus was working on a Mun base in our Discord the last couple of days. So we do have our like live comms and a couple other channels depending what your Patreon tier is. You can hang out, build Kerbal, and things like that. We also have our behind the scenes channel, which starts with our first Patreon level that I hang out in quite a bit, trying out new things, editing videos, and stuff like that. So definitely take a moment, check those out if you're interested. Our Patreon starts at $1.50 a month and really does actually help the channel grow. Dakota, what do they plan to do after Artemis? I'm assuming that Artemis will be like the Apollo and do what it is, like 8 planned launches who bring more astronauts, Lunar, Soyuz. Artemis is very much going to be our next generation of crafts and stuff. I don't think we will. The Artemis program, unlike the Apollo program, will not be for like 4 or 6 years. Artemis is probably going to be our generation's space program. We will see probably new crafts be added to it. I think there's going to be a big conversation on if SpaceX wants to go to Mars by itself. That's not part of Artemis. But if NASA wants to go to Mars using a Starship, that's Artemis. Same thing like on the lunar base. Is, does SpaceX want to do one or is NASA doing one? And that's where there's a lot of communication and conversations right now with lawyers and NASA and really building that with the Artemis Accords. We'll have an update tomorrow, but it came out today that South Korea is now looking at joining the Artemis Accord. So that's a really big deal to have all these countries saying, yeah, we want to go to space together peacefully for exploration and for humanity and doing that. Now, obviously, there's other nations that will never probably sign the Artemis Accords, or at least not in the near future for it. But Artemis is going to be different from Apollo for how long it lasts. It's if it has the budget. If it doesn't have the budget, Artemis will end. SpaceX will just continue forward by itself. So we have the two different things happening. Great point. They could retire Lunar Starship as a space station and Lunar base. Yeah. What do you mean by retiring Lunar Starship as a space station? Didn't know that that was an option. Thanks. Yeah. So the idea with Lunar Starship, the thought of it at least, and I probably should just grab one, is you could land it on the moon, or on the moon, right? On the moon. You could land Lunar Starship on the moon, and make it more permanent. You could, whether it's you're putting a base, structuring it down better. There's people that have said, could you theoretically, take the tanks out or use the tanks as other pressurized facilities, either for expansion of the human habitats, or would you use them as you'd land another lunar starship and fuel it up, and then have basically these huge fuel tanks on the moon that you could use? The other option is Lunar Starship is meant to go up and down. It's basically a moon taxi, is what I've called it. It goes from low lunar orbit to lunar surface. They could launch it to lunar orbit, dock it to the Gateway station, or replace Gateway, because one Starship is basically the same living space as the entire International Space Station. So if you launched a module, docking type of system, with 6 ports on it, and maybe an extension piece, you could have 4 lunar starships docked, or even 5, 4 and then 1, and then have an extension piece with a docking hatch. So you could have all those starships that are old designs that were the taxis that are now docked together, and you've got something 5 times the size of the International Space Station. Now, obviously, the living quarters and everything would have been designed for what they wanted to do on the moon, but there's nothing saying, you don't dock another one and you change out the computers. We're going to start getting to that point where we're seeing crafts be renovated, or even like Starship's going to open it up to be able to start building stuff in space and learning how to do that. So there's going to be lots of things there. Do you think that when NASA wants, do you think that's, what NASA wants to go to Mars? What do you mean, Golden? I want to make sure I'm answering that correctly. Do you think that when NASA goes to Mars, they will keep Artemis? Artemis is supposed to be, like, if you look at the logo, it shows the moon and then it shows Mars. The idea is Artemis is our next step. Artemis is the sister to Apollo. So that is the idea, is Artemis is back to the moon and then to Mars. How does the SLS work? Do they do block 1 and then block 1B and then like 2 for 2 launches? How many times will the SLS fly? Sorry for no worries at all there, Dakota. Good questions. How does the SLS work? We're all wondering that. Hasn't flown yet. Has solid. Well, I can work on a video on that. Actually, it's not a bad question. Somewhat similar to the shuttle, somewhat similar to Saturn V. It's got a core stage. Actually, why don't we do this? That's in. We'll do here. We might have just killed Bob and Jeb, but that's okay. Be easier to pull it up here and kind of roughly build out an SLS, very roughly, at least the bottom part of it. We all are isn't working for me. I'm not too sure there. I meant the blocks, not how. Oh, okay. How do the blocks work? So right now they're sort of on block. I believe people have been kind of referring it to block 1B. The SRBs are stacked. Now they're doing the core stage. There hasn't been a lot of clarification on that. SLS moves so slowly that we don't really know. So it's a good question. Don't have a great answer for it, unfortunately. Something I'll look into to see if there's a more definitive. How many times with the SLS fly? How many times can an SLS fly? Like the actual rocket itself? 1. Orion can fly again, but the rocket itself is can only fly once. It doesn't land. Now, I believe they said eventually they wanted to see if could they recover like the SRBs and stuff, but yeah, it's once Starship's operational, SLS, a lot of what SLS can do, Starship will do. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be reasons for SLS to still exist. There'll also be the Vulcan Centaur and New Glenn. So we're going to have a lot more rockets in the near future there. Is your Discord public or Patreon? Both, KSP Kid. for it. We've got a public and a Patreon side of it, so we'll get one of the mods to drop the link in the chat there, so you can jump on in. We've got more than probably about half of it is open to the public, and then we have another kind of half of it that's for our patrons. You can check that out. Our Patreon starts at about $1.50 a month. It really helps the channel, have new opportunities and grow. And we've expanded the studio equipment a lot, which I'll be excited to show in a studio tour here. It's going to be this week. Had some slight delays setting some stuff up, so we're going to do it next week and stuff. But you can get access to early access to videos, script access, behind the scenes things. So if you saw any of our model videos over the last few days, that's what this suite behind me is. If I turn this on here, so I had the camera set up literally like this while I was doing the photos and stuff of the models. Let's see, there we go. So changing out the, what type of lighting do we want, angles, things like that. So yeah, we shoot that all in there. We shoot on right now an iPhone 11 Pro Max for those type of things. So I had that up. We had the tripod and everything going here, but you were able to watch and hang out. We did that in behind the scenes and stuff like that. So try to do that we're in behind the scenes at least once a day. Meant to say, if you think that NASA will have enough budget to keep Lunar Colony and Mars Colony, maybe private space companies could take over. Yeah, I think we're going to see NASA have to migrate to the point of, is it going to be a company that is operating its own rockets, or is it going to be a company that's using other rockets? Because that's a big part of why they have issues. If they don't have to have the money to build their own rockets and they can just buy rockets and stuff like they're doing now, and that's where we kind of got into when we were talking about the spacesuits. They're no longer doing their XMUs or XEUs. They're looking at doing commercial suits, and in the commercial suit contract, in the request for information that they put out for companies to say yes, we're interested, they are putting in there, they don't only want the design, they want the companies to design, manufacture, operate, and maintain the suits. So NASA's basically saying, we're going to use them, but you have to run everything. So just like when we see a SpaceX launch, yes, there's people at Mission Control at Kennedy Space Center, but there are also people at Hawthorne operating Dragon. So there's the two teams, and we're going to see a lot more of that. So if SpaceX, let's say, won the spacesuit contract, that would most likely be operated out of Hawthorne as well. Or we might see SpaceX end up, expanding into NASA more, because let's be honest, SpaceX is the one that's really pushing ahead of everyone. SpaceX is building a new facility at Kennedy right now. They've bought the land and are working on that. So we'll see a change on stuff there as well. But yeah, do I think they'll have the budget? I think it depends what government you have in place. I also think it depends if the U.S. is going to end up in a recession or a war or different things like that, depending on which party and which government's in place. Certain ones like NASA for science and business. Other ones like NASA because they think it's cool. And then other ones think NASA is just a waste of money and kill it off completely, which is why we almost lost NASA completely. It's why we, in many ways, saw such a break between the shuttle and where we're at now. KSP, what is it? Oh, what is the Discord? We will drop that link in the chat here in just a second. I'll see if I can grab that for you. If you scroll back in the chat, you should be able to see it there as well, or in the description. It should be there. Those are sweet. Oh, awesome. Glad you enjoyed those. So we're going to be doing those with the helmet. We've got the Lego builds. We have some other models coming in the future as well. We'll have some discount codes as well in the future. So in the Discord, there'll be a place for that, but we'll also put those in the video link descriptions if we have a discount code available. So you can start building your own studios at home and possibly giving gifts and things like that, because they're really great models. They're nice because they're not huge. They don't take up a ton of space. Like the Lego Saturn V takes up quite a substantial bit of space. Believe it or not, that's not going to be the biggest model in the studio here. in the next few months. We're going to have a quite an upgraded model, which we're excited to have, that will soon have some brothers and sisters with it. So this is the studio. Well, not this angle, but you'll see the full studio here in the next week or so. And that'll be our studio for the next few months. And then we are working on kind of Studio 2. This will be the studio for live streams, and then we'll do a studio for some of our other videos as well. So lots of plans doing this. This is all in my house, so we're not spending money on rent and things like that. But being able to set up a really good option for depending on the type of coverage or content we're doing. I honestly think that space stuff shouldn't be limited to money. What happens if a huge comet comes in? Sorry, you don't have the money. Have fun dying. That's a yeah. That would be an interesting one there, Dakota. I think there's a lot of things that. Sorry, just seeing here. Oh, welcome, Monster. Good to see you. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that, and that's where there's military, there's NASA, there's private, there's other countries, things like that. In the original Star Trek lore, companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing built the Enterprise, but then Starfleet operated them. It should be the same with NASA operating Starship. That'd be interesting. That's an interesting idea. But yeah, that would be kind of falling, which is really funny if you look at Star Trek or Stargate. There's a lot of things happening in those shows that we're hitting the timelines like exactly right, based on when they think things are happening. So from 50, 60 years ago. So very interesting to see there. But I agree, it's kind of almost reverse that. Well, sort of like Lockheed Martin and Boeing build them, NASA like staffs them or like uses them, but they're still operated by. Just the missions are not for Lockheed or Boeing; they're for NASA. So sort of similar, but a little bit different there. Maybe the U.S. government might increase the budget because of fears of China and Russia, and similarly like the space race. We are definitely seeing another space race. With Russia and China now having plans for their own space station. China's building theirs right now. Russia's looking at separating in the next couple of years and building the Ross space station. We're at the point now where we're going to have the International Space Station. We're going to have the Ross space station, the Chinese space station, the Lunar Gateway station. Axiom's going to build onto the ISS and then eventually separate onto Axiom 1 or whatever they're going to call it. And then there's a few other private space stations in funding development planning. So we're going to go from having one space station to 5, 6, 7 or more in probably the next decade and a half. So we're definitely seeing a space race. We're definitely seeing that China and Russia are trying to race back to the moon and build a base there as well. If you watch For All Mankind, hopefully it doesn't turn out like that. But we'll have to see what happens for it. But you're absolutely right. Like the U.S., and again, it comes back to the government. Depending what government's in place, do they care or not? But I think NASA will care, and I think under Senator Nelson, they've got someone there that's going to fight and keep NASA with funding and keep NASA going. Yeah, season 3 For All Mankind is a year away probably, but hopefully it will be worth the wait. They ended it with a very exciting cliffhanger. I'm not saying anything more. If you haven't watched it, definitely go check it out. It'll be something to. It's a really good show. Seasons 1 and 2 are out now on Apple TV, so you can check that out. Not affiliated with the show or anything, just an interesting show to watch. When is the gateway being built? Excited to see those launches. So those launches, the first one here, we are expecting to see. Let me see here, May 2024. We're expecting to see the power and propulsion element, the PPE, and the habitation and logistics outpost, the HALO, the HALO, will be launching in May 2024, costing $331.8 million. These will be the first elements for the Gateway mini station as part of the Artemis program. These were just awarded this February. Originally, SpaceX was contracted just to do the PPE launch, but they did an extension and decided to launch PPE and HALO together, and those are going to be on an extended fairing on Falcon Heavy. So that'll be exciting to see there. And then also in 2024, we're expected to see at least 2 Dragon XL launches, which Dragon XL will be for the gateway logistics servicing and stuff there. They can carry 5 tons of cargo to lunar orbit on 6 to 12 month long missions. So kind of like what we are seeing right now with Cargo Dragon, and you see it with like the Soyuz and different things there, or not the Soyuz, the Progress. Dragon XL is going to be one of those options. 6-12 months out to the moon and then come back. So we'll be expecting to see those 2024 as well. 2024 is when things really pick up, type of thing for it, and then go from there. So Falcon Heavy, right? Yep, absolutely. Falcon Heavy. Oh god, figure they'd start earlier. It takes a long time to build something like that. So they are building now. They're launching in 2024. Sorry for that confusion there. They are already building. We've seen them start carving and 3D printing and different things now. They're launching the first 2 modules in 2024. So first 2 modules launch it together and we'll go up. Zach, what are your thoughts on the Congress-driven side of SLS? Not enough funding, or is it too much for what it is? I love those SRBs and all. Almost expired in date. $2 billion per launch is a little much. Yeah, SLS is an interesting vehicle. SLS is a vehicle that I was going to pull up a Crew Dragon here. So let me do this here really quickly. Or we'll pull up a, let's see. What should we pull up here? And then I'll dive into Congress. Let's do... Mm-hmm. You mean the Munner Bust one? Oh, the new one? Yep, let me do that. I'm going to switch to this angle here because we got a couple crafts sent in over on Discord that I'm going to download here. See if my computer will be happy enough to do it. There we go. Good night, G. We'll see you later. Just downloading a few things off of Kerbal here. Or off of Kerbal. Off of Discord. If you have crafts, you can send them over on Discord and we download those and play them on air here. Let's catch up here. Why not SN20? Got to get out of the way, SLS fan or not. SLS is going to be cool. I want to see SLS in person. I want to feel those SRBs. Does it make sense financially? Not really. Do I play Minecraft? I have in the past. I haven't recently. It's probably been a couple years since my last Minecraft build days. There we go. We're just going to switch here and see if it loads. But let me know in the comments. Someone had recommended if we do a like live stream multiplayer server for Kerbal. Kind of the thoughts on that. So is that something people would be interested in? We can take a look and try to see if that'll work. Oh, we're seeing unknown parts. Let's see. Will it work? Is it going to still build it? Yeah, there we go. So this is the Saturn V from Marcus, who's in our Discord there. And then I just wanted to also see we got an SN5 from G. Golden Gamer, I will try to go see Artemis 1 since I live in Florida. If not, I'll watch from my house. Jealous. Yeah, I want to be there for Artemis 1. That is definitely my hope. Kerbal has multiplayer. Not really. But there is a mod that you can get that sort of makes it work if your computer's powerful enough. So it'd be something we have to try. I know the shuttle was a good thing we needed, but I never cared for it. Looked like a flying wiener dog. I like the shuttle. I get what you're saying with the boosters. I miss the shuttle. I wish I got to see a shuttle fly. I wish I got to see a shuttle in person. That's one reason I look forward to seeing going back down to Kennedy, is getting to see um, Atlantis in person and actually see that. Got to see it through the VAB doors, but never really got to see one of them in all their beauty. So want to get up and close and see one of those historical craft there. But absolutely, I'd love to be there for Artemis 1. I want to be there for the first. I mean, I'm not sure I'm going to make it to Starbase for the first stacked Starship, but definitely will be there for like the first crewed or cargo. I want to try to do that for you guys to bring that. Obviously, those will be out at sea, so we're not too sure how that's going to work. If they'll have a viewing party or what that's going to be. How do you add the files without restarting? So what you do is you just leave Kerbal open. So I just switch to another screen. So like I can just like switch out to another window. And then you go to your Kerbal folders, go to like your game data and stuff. And then you can drop everything in, go back into your Kerbal game, which is still open. You need to leave the VAB. So like go out to like the normal map and then go back in. And then it sees it. You can see those files. Yeah, Atlantis looks amazing. Marcus has flooded Discord a couple times with photos, which is amazing because I asked for them. But love seeing Atlantis. Hopefully we'll get to see some of the other crafts as well here. And we're going to give this SN5 plus Saturn 5. Let's see what this is. This is from G. Okay. Oh, okay. We've got a Saturn 5 too. Interesting. Golden Gamer lucky enough to have seen two shuttles, Atlantis and the one in the Smithsonian. Never saw fly though. No, same thing. I mean, hey, if now that control is not centered, that's interesting. Hey, if we're down at Kennedy or we're down at Starbase, we'll definitely, and it's allowed after the pandemic, we'll definitely look at doing possibly, either meetups or something for it and go from there. Because we want to build a community. Like, I don't want the launch pad, as I've said it before, to be just me. If you're a photographer, videographer, or things like that, and you want to be part of the launch pad, get in touch and we'll see what we can figure out to really get to build this community of people rather than fighting each other for views or content or whatever. Let's just work together and build this one big platform for it. Kate and I have a model discovery next to my computer from when I saw STS-131. I gotta get a shuttle model. I've got well, I have the shuttle there. I have another shuttle that's like 15 years old that I still need to build. I have to find some replacement parts, but I'd like to get a proper shuttle. The TWR is going to destroy this rocket. I mean, it's an interesting concept. We're going to do the automated system. There's our turn. And we're going to engage and engage, and we'll see what happens. What happens if Super Heavy explodes? 10 times worse than a second. Yes, Super Heavy is something we don't want to ever see explode. Yeah, we hope we never see that. We'll see one eventually, let's be honest. We might see one in the next couple of months, depending if they try to splash down or touchdown. But I'm not too sure what their footage for that will be like, because if they're re-entering a rocket that they don't know where exactly it's going to come in, they have a guess. Are they going to risk ships being in the area? Because the ship is not going to move faster than the rocket coming in from launch. So we're just launching an SN5 here, because why not? And we're going to disengage the autopilot, engines off. We're going to stage. Oh, it's got stages. Okay. Stage. There we go. That's what we wanted. Oh, no. Radial out. Oh, boy. Oh. Can we recover? Can we recover? Oh, boy. Oh. There goes our mass simulator. Just like SN9. I'm going to retry that there. Zach, that's supposed to be the cross between the Saturn V and the SN5. Right, so I'm supposed to put SN5 in orbit. That's what you're saying. Yes, the second stage costs a lot. I recently started photography in December, but I've only been doing aviation photography since I haven't been able to go to Kennedy. We'll see if I go. Where are you, like, you don't have to say in here, you can private message it or whatever. Are you in Florida or where are you at, Golden? That's curious. Starship car. Well, you know, everyone wanted a Cybertruck, so, you know, we just, next best thing. There we go. We'll try this again. You can treat it like Apollo 10. There we go. Looks very unaerodynamic. Yeah, I'm not sure how a big box that then comes down and has like wedges for the tanks next to it's going to work. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, definitely you know, send a DM, or if you're on Discord, send me a message there. We can connect there. Hey, Dragon King, welcome. If you're just joining us again, I try to always remember to refresh the room. I know we got people coming, going. Welcome. I don't even think I said it all night. Hi, my name's Zachary Aubert. I'm the host here at the Launchpad, if we haven't met yet. I'm the face you've probably seen in most of the videos if you're following the channel. But here at the Launchpad, we cover everything space, space flight, space engineering, and the future of space. Invite you to join the community, hit the subscribe button, join us over on our Discord, chat with me directly and the rest of our community 24/7, basically. We've got people all over the world, so it seems to be always something happening in Discord. I'd love to see you in there and have your ideas. But yeah, this is the landing pad broadcast. These are our weekly night hangouts. That's our new name. And we're going to be working on, you know, fleshing out that name, but we're going to call it the landing pad on the launch pad. Excited to have you here. Caden, I'm from Vancouver, where we have one. Only went to Kennedy once, really want to go again. Absolutely. I'm the same thing, Caden. I want to go again. Yeah, I didn't even know Vancouver had a space museum. I mean, we have the TELUS Space and Science Center, but it's not really a museum. I don't even think we have anything that's like really space there. Like historical space, I mean. I've been lucky enough to go see some other facilities. I was down at NASA Ames Research Center probably about 10 years ago, actually, while they were preparing and testing parachutes for what would become the Curiosity mission. They were in the early stages of that. Did Kennedy once. And then was at Edwards Air Force Base, actually, as they were preparing for the shuttle. So we didn't get to go down to the NASA building, but we were preparing for that. Oh, did I leave infinite propellant on? Is that why we've been having... Yeah, I did. Oops. We're going to just restart that so we do it fairly here. Hey, no one's put firework on yet tonight, so hey, we're okay. There we go. We're going to try this again. Yeah, calling it that is exaggerating a little. Just like a little. Like, welcome to the Space Museum, where we have parts of trains. Like, unless it's part of the Soyuz program. Doesn't... Oh, no. I'm hearing music in the Discord, which normally means people think this is going to fail. Yup. You can leave it in, Marcus. Oh, okay. Yeah, the music's not. The beeps are. Yeah, no. If you are in Discord, don't worry, you're not on air. You're in my ear. So that music box. Yeah. Yeah, apparently the song Firework is what I play often. Ooh, I like that video. Masser, that's awesome. I'll definitely have to take a look at that. That's actually kind of like an intro I was working on. So slowly coming up here. Soon going to stage our first stage here. Yeah. If we're testing a new vehicle, that's normally what gets put on. Either that or Rocket Man or Space Oddity or anything by Everyday Astronaut. But yeah, Firework is so I didn't do anything there. That was MechJet staging. Now I do have to activate the engine though. And it's decided to do a circle. Well, let's go and check the Twitterverse. See if anything new and or exciting is happening in the space world. Elon's jets in San Francisco. That was an April Fool's joke. Just a couple days late. Sunset photos. I know Mary Boca Chica Gal spotted a really interesting, I believe it was methane, like vent structure for all the raptors. So if we find that again, we'll retweet that one out. Me watching this while going through my YouTube filmed content, but not edited. Oh, cool. What about Starset satellite? What about it? You mean Starlink? What are we talking about? Oh, we're apparently going to a 487. This is where one of our issues is. We're also descending right now. I'm not sure this is going to work well. Oh, it's a song? I haven't heard that. Do you want to play that one in the Discord, Marcus? We're going to try to go back to the VAB. See if we can recover it. Land on the launch pad. That's what we're going to try to do here. If it doesn't want to do it itself, I'm going to do it myself. Hey, monster. Not sure this is going to go well. We will drop that link in the chat there. Okay, we're going to turn this all off. Oh. We're going to see if we can recover this. It's unlikely. Hey, welcome, Golden Gamer. This is not doing it. Okay. That's what we're expecting to see. Why did that sound like an actual starship blowing up? You know, effects. I don't actually know. Is that added water effect, I guess? Now, we do have a fully stacked starship in here. Hey, Beef. Let's go and find that. We'll give that one a try tonight. I think it's called, like, I think I fixed it. Something like that. I think this one. Yeah, unfortunately, those deltas don't work anymore right now. Dakota. Hey, no, that was me. Well, welcome. I normally give a shout out when people try to join, or at least I try to. I know I missed Andrew and a couple others earlier. This is the Lunar Starship that we got from G. Because this is the Lunar one, we're just going to take it straight to a Lunar. Let's see, you're getting some pings here. How does this work? I'm here. What do I do? Well, welcome. On the left side of your Discord, if you're new to our Discord, I'm working on a video to put into the Discord for you guys. On the left, you can see all of our channels. So we have TLP Live, TLP News, Shop, builds, and stuff like that. During the weekly night hangouts for the landing pad, we hang out in live comms and live hangout for the chat. But general chats, as it says, pretty much everything's labeled. Just read through the labels, and that should clarify it. If you have questions, though, ask in it. We've got a great community of people that will normally answer any questions you may have. Hey Zach, check this out when you can. Kraken craft. I'm just gonna turn that down a couple notches here. Control with throttle controls do not stage. Oh no. Okay, it's downloading. Very special. I'm concerned. Definitely will do that, Golden Gamer. I'll do that once I get off here tonight. Dakota, live voice, you'll actually talk, or do you just unmute randomly? I don't know if you want to hear. No, we actually talk. Well, you can hear me in there right now. If we were doing like a launch coverage or something, normally I'll be in behind the scenes, which is for our Patreons, or I'll be in on air. But live comms is open for if you guys all want to watch and hang out and talk during the launch, or just hang out playing Kerbal day to day, like whatever. Live comms is there to do that. We just say, keep it to the rules of the Discord. Keep it somewhat related to space or STEM or things like that. But yeah, absolutely, it is a place to connect for it. Looks like we're going to land on the dark side of the Mun right now. What we're going to do at this point is we're going to stage those and turn those off. So now we're only on our landing ones. I need to go to sleep. It's 1 a.m. here. It was fun though. Sounds good, Dakota. Yeah, we're going to try to get these a little bit earlier into the evening to make them a little bit easier for everyone over on the East Coast. It's not too bad for me out west. I'm in Mountain Time Zone, but we'll try to book these earlier. Check out the YouTube community tab later tonight or tomorrow. We're going to have 2 polls up in there. What days work best for people and what days, what time of day works well for everybody as well. So want to hear your feedback on that. And that Kraken craft is downloaded, so we will load that in here in just a moment. I think our landing gear is down. Nope, now it is. Oh boy. Sounds good. Have a great night, Golden. We'll see you later. And it's gonna, warp this just a little bit. Is it gonna land? There we go. I didn't mean to use those. Oh, oh no. Well, I mean, we made it to the Mun. So we're going to switch this here. I'm going to bring a Kraken Craft by Andrew into the game. Apparently, it's maybe a little underwhelming at the beginning, but apparently gets interesting. So we're going to see what happens. Hopefully, it doesn't kill my KSP. Let's go. Ships, VAB, Kraken Craft, in. You mean throttle up and down? Okay. I'm on a Mac, so I think it's different, but yeah. I was like, that's the Lunar Starship. That's not Kraken Drive. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. What's in it? What are all... There shouldn't... There shouldn't be anything in this that... Huh? Oh, I'm not sharing the screen to YouTube. So I've been staring at... We'll bring this back on screen here in a moment. This is the Kraken drive that I have been sent. And I'm very confused. There's no fuel tank. There's no... What else, Andrew? No fuel tank and no engines. Just because I think we need to see this in all its beauty, we'll warp to sunrise. Oh boy. Okay. So he's... Don't stage, just throttle. Wait, what? Wait, what? How is it flying? So apparently this deals with magnets. That sounds above my pay grade. But what we're going to try to do, we're going to let MechJeb take it out and tell it to land at the... Oh. Well, it decided it wanted a parachute. We're just going to get rid of the parachute. No one needs a parachute. There we go. Let's see, can it figure it out? Can it get it back? I don't think it can. That's... Huh? It just doesn't... Okay. Now, how big... It doesn't have reaction wheels either. Guys, we broke Zach, says Barack Obama. Not sure that's a comment I ever expected to read out loud. Now, how big could you scale this up? Okay. Yeah. So what you're saying is I should stage. Oh, hello. A naked rocket. This is just weird. So many thoughts. What I love is there's still a Kerbal in here. Really? Interesting. KSB physics at their finest. Right. It doesn't need fuel. Fuel is for the weak. Does it get faster? Okay. Oh, so like if I change this extension thing, okay, they're already together. Okay. But if they were to get closer, a plane, okay. Which mod? I might have it. Oh, okay. We're just, slowly making our way into space with no engine or fuel tank or control wheel or RCS or body because, naked rocket. Oh, 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 oh. You're spinning. We've lost all our orbital speed. We're going to drop out of here for a second and bring up a couple more here. We got the mini dart and the dart AL. I'm assuming these would be into the space plane hangar. Let's back up so you guys actually see it. So when I do my first reaction, it's not, and you don't know what I'm looking at. Satar, Satar, Sattar. I don't know how to say your name, but I've spelt it and said it a number of different ways. So we'll start with mini dart. Oh, hello. Yep, that's a mini dart. It has an end. Where is it getting 6,500 meters a second of fuel? Oh, oh, oh. No. Oh, right. You guys are on a delay, aren't you? Here. Let's fix that. There we go. That's meant to be on. If I don't do that next time, remind me. Eh. So we're in the partner program. That doesn't matter. Okay. I really want to put a seat on this and put a Kerbal. Yeah. I'm not doing anything. Oh, 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 oh. Hey! See, when we were talking about UFOs earlier, who's saying the US military doesn't have this? That we know of. Science. Oh, 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 oh. What? Absolutely flawless. Won't turn. Oh, that's what I was meaning. I was pushing the wrong keys. That does explain it. Could you do a fleet of these together? Like Kerbal has that one craft that comes. Like, could you put like 10 of these? You're just flying a fleet of these. There is like 3 small fighters almost. I thought it was an original Kerbal. Maybe it wasn't. Ooh. Big dart. Mini dart. And of course, Kerbal doesn't put things in alphabetical order all the time. Okay. This just looks like a boat. Maybe we should put some people on it. Oh. We have none missing, so that's positive. We'll send a pilot and an engineer. Oh, just a pilot. Game's thinking about it, deciding if it wants to do it. I think that's just you. Let me look. It's smooth on mine. There's 100 meters a second. We recovered it. Yeah. So this is when we're going to try landing at the island runway 09. Approach speed can be, let's say, 100. Touchdown speed, let's say 80. Auto land. Let's see if it does it. It's doing. Nope, that's the game. That's MechJet. Poor throttle. Zero, no. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these poor engines. No, it's going out slowly. Walmart auto throttle. More like dollar store. I love that our altitude here is just like, yeah, we'll be fine. It is. It's slowly lining us up with the runway, though. It is doing it. Slowly turning. Just hanging out. Pretending we're a speedboat at 1,000 meters. I love that inside the game, it just doesn't even have hope. It just puts the throttle at like 3/4, and it's just like, well, yeah, that's good. Ooh. I think I've flown one a while back. Turn y'all up a little. That's so slow. There we go. Oh, this poor engine. Oh, it's full throttling. Oh no. It doesn't like the warp. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I see the water. I really see the water. Hey! Oh, there we go. See, we're fine. There's our engines. They're over there for recoverability. Trying to just wait till you see inside it. I'm downloading it after the stream. Where's the butt of the plane? There it is. No, it's definitely not stock. Either works. Even an attempt at putting it in the right spot is an improvement. Come on. Well, I think I'm going to work on building this craft over on the Discord, but I think we've kind of run out of the questions for the evening, so we'll probably wrap up the landing pad episode 1 and move on over to Discord. So if you're not in this Discord, link is in the description. You can head on over there and watch as we build this and maybe try out some other crafts here tonight. Of course, we'll be back next week, and maybe we'll do one on the weekend. We'll see how things go. But thank you, everyone, for watching here tonight. This is the Launchpad, where we cover everything space, space flight, space engineering, and the future of space. I'm Zach, the host here, and this is the Launchpad. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you